Hey guys, welcome back. Bolt Spider here, and today we are going to be going back to the lovely Ursarctic archetype that I covered in the How to Deck Build video. Now, they have released the final card for the deck, which is Ursarctic Departure, and this is a Melody of the Waking Dragons for the deck. By discarding one card, you add 2 Ursarctic monsters from your deck to your hand. If you attribute a monster to activate an Ursarctic monster's effect, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you could banish this card from your graveyard instead. This card is very great, and it's an instant 2 to 3 of it in the deck, and overall, I really love it. So I'm going to be editing how the deck is, and going to be discussing on how the deck now functions overall with how it is. So a few of the things that we're going to be cutting from the deck, because this is going to be changing very little to very drastically, because with this new card we can run things like Gracia, the Elemental Lord, as this card is a free rip 2 as you're already ripping one from Minstrel as is and one from Prima Donna. Now, some of the cards that we're going to be cutting things like Heavy Infantry, the Mermail Abyss Megalo, and the Abyss Scale spell card. And some cards we're going to be adding in are things like 1-for-1, because 1-for-1 is a great card. And since we have a second search or a third search target, we're going to be cutting out one of the sliders. And overall, this is actually a very good, very good deck. Now, one of the things that people are opting to run in Arctics now, because we're running the deep sea cards, people are opting to run the 1 Artisan, because there's a level 1 that you can summon off of Prima Donna to go into a level 8, being something like a Borreload Savage. Other things we have things like White Orb Bahamut, because we need that level 10 now. And does this card add a little more depth into how the deck runs? It does, because now we can maximize our efforts and run more of the Ursarctic monsters than we have, but I think I'm going to keep a lot of it how it is. So in other deck lists, I see 3 of the Mega Billis, 3 of the Mega Pola, 2 of our Archer, 3 of the Mike Pola, 3 of the Mictanus, and the 1 Micbillis. But overall, I really like my lineup on how it is. Other people are running Poseidra. Yes, Poseidra, the Atlantean King, because you could tribute 3 level 3 or lower water monsters, especially on this card from your hand, but you're not going to be doing that. It is just there because it's a level 7. And it is a it's a very interesting level 7. Only if we had something like Tidal Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls, it would have been way better. But this is the build that I'm going to be going with, and I'm going to explain all the tech choices and everything. Mooling Glacia is amazing because we were running Dragoons, and with Dragoons, it is your primary discard targets or send targets off of Neptibus and Deep Sea Minstrel. Dragoons searches out all your Sea Serpent cards, your whole entire engine, and Minstrel is a hand rip for sure. Now, the hand trap is up to you which one you want to run. I run Ghost Spell because it is one of the more prominent ones that you can run, but other people do tend to run other things like the Lancia, Ghost Reap. No, it is Skullmeister and a few others like Nibiru. Other things, we have Deep Sea Diva, your best target in the deck to search and summon, because it summons out your Neptibus, which is in itself a +1. Then we have the 001 still, because we're still running the Halka-Fibrex engine. The Artisans now, because the Prima Donna. 1-for-1, because 1-for-1ing a Neptibus is amazing. Deep Sea Aria, banishing 1 water monster from your graveyard to get into your Deep Sea Diva is amazing. Monster Reborn is a great generic extender. Departure is amazing. Slider's still great. And the 1 Big Dipper is all you need. Now, in the extra deck, we can change a few of the cards in here. Like we can add something like a Coral Dragon, or maybe something on the lines of a Vermilion Scrap Dragon, but I'm not going to go that far of changing the whole deck, as we do have a lot of other things to definitely do. Now, you can also run Nibiru over Ghost Bell, but overall, Ursarctic is looking in a better spot because of the departure spell card. So let's go into the test hand and let's see what we can do. Now, with test hands, I just usually do what I normally do to go through it. So we're just going to go to Deep Sea Diva, normal summon or special summoning out the Neptibus. The Neptibus this is why we run double Dragoon, because we dump Dragoon, send Dragoon. We have another Dragoon in the hand, which is completely fine. Minstrel would be the card that we would target, but this is why when we do test hands, we uncheck the opponent, so things like that can go off. And one of the things that I would love to start off with to show you the full extent of the combo is getting that Deep Sea Diva, as we see so many different variations of the hands that we get. So we would just normal summon Deep Sea Diva, okay, use the effect, summoning out the Neptibus. We activate the Neptibus, sending a Dragoon to add another Dragoon. Dragoon gets the trigger, and this is where we're going to have to get the Moiling Glacier. After that, we're just going to drop Minstrel, discarding the Dragoon, and we could pluck out one card out of our opponent's hand, which is going to be the lovely Diva, and the card that we're going to be adding is a backup Diva for now. So we only have a total of 3 waters, but that doesn't really matter because we're going to be going into the Halka-Fibrex. Halka-Fibrex is going to summon the 001 from deck. Now, since we already do have 5 waters in the graveyard, Moiling Glacier gets summoned. Then we rip 2 random cards out of our opponent's hand. After that, we're going to synchro up into the Auroradon. Auroradon's going to go off, and then we summon out the 3 tokens. This is actually amazing because we get the access into something like a Prima Donna. So after that, we're going to summon out the Prima Donna because it's a very good card to go into. Activate this, returning the Deep Sea Diva to summon out our Artisan. And then it goes back to their hand, which is completely fine. Then Artisan, send the top card, and then we special summon 1 monster from our graveyard. And I'm most likely gonna say I want to summon out the Deep Sea Minstrel because it's a tuner, but we cannot use the effect. After that, this is where we're going to go into the Boral Savage Dragon. And then after that, we're going to get the Halka-Fibrex onto the card. And after that, we can activate our Big Dipper for it to be there. Then we're going to go into we're going to be banishing I think we're going to banish the Artisan to give us a Minstrel to hand, which is actually very good. After that, we really don't have much that we can work off of. So we can only tribute 1 to destroy a card on the field. That kind of sucks. So you're most likely not going to do that, so we could just do that. And this is like the end board. We have an Auroradon, we have a Minstrel, which is completely fine. And we don't have the 1 Colt Wing in the deck, so that's why we couldn't effectively go up into it, because what we would have done, we would have a 4 and a 3, so we can go into a level 1 polar area. So the card that we could drop for the 1 Colt Wing, believe it or not, is, I would say, I think this is where we can cut out these so we can put in the Colt Wing, and then we have 2 spots remaining, and I think I'm just going to put in the Call by the Grave and the Feather Duster for now, and then let's do a test hand. And this hand is not that good, but we did open up Departure, so Departures, we can pitch the 001 if we wanted to. So with this hand, it's a very interesting hand because we have almost, I think this is full combo. So we're not going to use any of our Ursarctic effects, and misclicks always happen. So the main combo that we need is just the one Deep Sea Diva, and like this right here. This is a good hand. But sadly, we didn't get the Deep Sea Diva for our combos because this deck really heavily relies on something like a Deep Sea Diva. So this is where we can get that Deep Sea Diva. And we're going to have one extra water in hand because... Actually, one extra water in graveyard because the Ursarctic monster. So overall, it is definitely it is definitely an interesting deck to play, and it's a good one to revisit because we could just do so much of what is needed. Like, we already ripped one card out of our opponent's hand, and I don't know why I added Mistral, but that's completely fine, in my opinion, because we could get rid of the Dragoons some way in another way, I think. So after this, we're going to summon out the lovely 3 tokens. The 001's going to trigger, summoning it out. Then we could special summon out the Prima Donna. Now, you can activate the Prima Donna now, or you can activate the Auroradon, tributing these two to summon out a Cold Wing, summoning out 2 more. But I think I wanted to go with the Prima Donna, so we could summon out the Artisan. And then after that, we're going to use the Artisan effect, dumping actual good one. That's very good. And then we could summon out something like the Deep Sea Diva. After that, we can go up into the lovely Boral Savage. And then we can use a Prima Donna effect on top of the Boral Savage equip effect to equip a Halka Fibrex to it. So that shuffles back in, and then we can easily go into Blood Moon, but I want to summon out the Colt Wing from deck, which we're going to tribute these two. And summons out the Colt Wing, which is absolutely fine. We're going to trigger the Colt Wing, summoning out the 2 tokens, and the 001 is going to trigger. And overall, we can make a wide variety of things, like we can make a Shen Shen if we wanted to, but I'm not going to. The most viable option of going is going into this, because we don't have anything. I misplayed on the ad, because we would have had a Moonling Glacier on the field instead of going to the Colt Wing. But overall, this deck is actually just a lot of fun and things you have to do correctly to get to where you want. Like, this hand is full combo because you open up Deep Sea Diva. Deep Sea Diva is the strongest card in the deck because it is your main combo starter. And if it gets hand trapped, that's where you have to fall back on your Ursarctic monsters that you draw specifically for those issues. And it's one of the things that you must keep the Ursarctic cards in your hand. If not, that's where it's going to hurt you in the long run. Because it's more of, do you have combo or not? And overall, I really enjoy this deck. I have enjoyed all 3 decks so far from the Ancient Guardians. And I'm glad that I can bring this type of series of how to deck build. And in future decks for newer ones that I'm going to bring, I am going to be explaining my choices and everything, because that's what someone brought up in the comment section of a previous video. Thank you for bringing that up, because it is a great thing to bring up, just in case if there are newer players that want to get into decks and how they work better. And overall, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're at this point. I forgot to drop this, but how many waters do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can special summon the Moonling Glacier, rip 2 out of our opponent's hand, and then we could synchro into a level 8, being our Boral Savage. And since we did that, we get the Halcyon Brax equipped. Then after that, we're going to activate this, discarding you, summoning out our level 8 Synchro. And this is where you can run a rank 8 if you want, but it's not really mandatory. And this is where I'm going to special summon a level 4 from the deck, which I should have attributed off the level 8, but that's absolutely fine. Colt Wing can't trigger, but overall, it is a lot of learning where I should have done, oh, I attribute this and the token to summon out a Polari. But it's just a lot of, like I said, a lot of learning for decks. But overall, what does Departure do for the deck? It makes the deck more consistent. This build is a very, very fun and very, very powerful build if you can make it go off. As overall, I am really happy with how Ursarctics are going to be. It is technically an engine type deck now because of Departure, which is amazing because it runs 2 pseudo engines, being Deep Sea, Atalantean, and the whole entire Sea Serpent engine, and the Needle Fiber engine for the only 4 cards for Needle Fiber engine. That is a super small engine that you could fit into everything. But I've been going on too long for this video. If you guys have any recommendations of what I should change down in the description, please let me know. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you guys in the next video, and goodbye.